Well, by now you all should know that I've done some electric screwdriver reviews, and the precision screwdrivers and the larger ones. This one happens to be another precision one. I really enjoy using these, and I can't say enough about these. They really save the wrist and twisting and turning, especially when you're getting into those smaller projects or repeatability projects where you have just a lot of screws and fasteners to take apart. So this one got sent to me by ShineHome, and we're going to take a deep dive look into this, what you get. But a full disclosure, they did send this to me in exchange for an honest opinion. Now I'm going to let you know what I think about this, what I truly think about it. So if you want to stay right there, let's open these up and see what we get. All right, so why do I have two different kits? Well, that's because they come in two different colors. And I said the only way I'm doing the review is if I get both the colors, because I want to show you both firsthand. And at the time I'm making this video, now it could differ by the time you see it and want to purchase one, but at this time, there is a 40% discount, 40% off of the already, I think it's like 18% off from either one of these kits. Now, I have a gray and I have a blue. I don't know which is which, though. I'm just holding in my hand. But they are 40% off. So you're talking about getting these for like $20. So not bad. So let's get into these and see what's going on. Now, just before we open these, I do want to mention this is a 66-in-1 precision screwdriver kit. It's 400 pieces in here. Now, they may even include the kit, the actual case as a piece, which I think is kind of annoying that companies do that. I don't know if they are, but sometimes that's the way it is. They include the packaging that it holds it in as one piece out of the 400. Anyway, with that said, it is a 350 milliamp hour battery in these things, and it does have a 200 RPM rating for the speed with 5 torque levels, so you can adjust them, and you can read everything that is specific to these right on Amazon. So again, I'll leave the link. Now, this does come in a soft case. Now, that could be good, it could be bad for some people. Traditionally, I do like a hard case versus a soft, but that might increase the price. So at a price point, it is a semi-firm case, but so it's not like super flimsy, but it is soft. Now, you do have a zipper to open it up instead of clips. Like in a hard case, you might have a clip, or it might be just hinged or something like that. So it's something just to consider. So if we open it up, this plastic was covering all the bits and all the pieces in here. Get rid of that. Now, if we start back here, I'm going to show this stuff up a little bit closer, by the way. But we do get a soft cloth, probably for wiping screens down or whatnot. We have a suction cup. We do have a accessory. It's a charging cable in the box. Now, they could have got rid of this box and just put it in there. I think that would be saving a few pennies. And last in this little section, it does come with a mobile phone repair tool screwdriver memory mat. That is what they're calling it. Now, it did come a little damaged here. You can see that on this back, they are little bumps. So on the back here, or on the front, I should say, something hit it and punctured it. It was probably one of these guys. And it also comes on the suction cup, which I missed, is a little key for, taking out memory cards and stuff like that on your cell phone. Again, these cases are good for laptops, cell phones, little projects like that, maybe remote control cars, etc. So this is a zoomed in version versus me coming up to the camera. I think this is a little bit more appropriate. So I do see that it has everything in a position with foam, which is kind of nice. So you know where everything goes, if something's missing, etc. And usually this is how they come in a form of this. It could change a little bit, but they come traditionally like this. This is a magnetic or magnetizer, so you would run the bits through it, and this would magnetize it through the hole, and on the top is usually the demagnetizer. And it does, right up here, have a negative symbol, and down here it does have a positive symbol. So you'd run it in and out of there a few times to magnetize it, and run it through here a few times on the top to demagnetize it if you wish. And we have a pry bar, little pry bar. We do have, you have to remember how it all goes back in. It comes with a brush. So I'll just start taking these things out. I'll lay them up front here so you can see them. And we have a pair of tweezers. The tweezers do come with a little plastic cover on them, just so you don't poke yourself. I've done that a few times. So we got the tweezers. We have 4. I'll just put one down, but we do have 4 picks. So these are used usually to pry or get rid of like glue on something, or a little bit of prying. So we have 4 of those. Then we have a bunch of bits. These are all look like Torx. So you can see those. And actually, we have a couple of safety Torx right there. If I'm remembering right, that's what they call them. So it's basically got the hole in the center. It's a like a safety or a tamper-proof Torx right there. We have an assortment of bits right here. We got triangle bits, square bits, and excuse me if I'm missing the term on those, but then we have some Phillips right over on this side, and you can see what they are right there. And I think I may have showed this. That was on the Torx anyway. So let's keep those in order. We have some more Phillips and a few more Torx on there. We have some Allen heads or hex heads, and some of the other unique ones here on the end. You can see, forgive me, but I don't know what they're called, but that's okay. You get them. And we have some more tamper-proof Torx right here. I don't know why they're separating them all. That's kind of odd. I would have kept all the Torx together, whether they are the regular Torx or the other ones. I would have kept them all together. That's strange. And here we get a manual screwdriver. And I believe, if I remember correctly, they say this is good for up to 5 Newton meters of torque, but I feel like you could go further. Now, this does have an extension. It just looks like, yeah, it does. So you have a few different levels of extensions, and this will come right out. But if you put it at its longest, it'll clip right in. And there's a length. It's kind of hard to judge the length, but there's the length right there. It's probably about 8 inches or so. And you just pull back on this little piece right here, and you can put it at different lengths depending on what you're working on. And the further out you go with that, the less torque you will have. And for the product of the show here is basically this is the electric screwdriver. We do have an LCD readout right here, and it's going to have 5 lines, up to 5 lines. And each torque level will represent a line. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, depending on your torque. And down here is just where you put the bits in. We'll just put a regular flathead in. And these, I think, are magnetic when you go in here. They are not. At least it doesn't feel that way. It has some sort of a retention in it, but it does not feel magnetic. Now, I have worked with ones that are magnetic built right in. I would like to see that in this. That would be a little bit nicer. But we do have... So if I push it, you'll see the torque levels. That's on torque level 5. Now, here is an LED. So you could turn it on or off. All right, so I did figure out how to change the torque level on this. So the LED on and off switch is also the torque level switch. So if we hold down on it, it will flash. Then we push it again, it drops down to 4. Push it again to 3, again to 2, and again to 1. And then you push it again to 5. So if we drop it all the way down, that is our lowest torque level. In order to get out of it, we just can let it, I guess, go. And right there. So see how I can stop it? Very easy to stop it. So that's a torque level. Now let's increase it right to 5. And now I'm going to try and hold it again. A lot tougher. I cannot stop that with my fingers. So if I had something to grip onto, I'd probably be able to stop it, but I cannot with that. And lastly, we do have our USB Type-C connector, and this is the charger for this. Now that is nice. That I am glad to see that it's USB Type-C on that, because if it wasn't, that would be another complaint. But so far, not really any complaints about this kit. Sometimes they do make kits that you can keep right in here, or where you can keep the actual screwdriver inside and then plug in on the outside of the case to recharge it. I guess it's kind of personal preference. I don't have a preference on that. You could do that or not, because if you could have this out and charge it, that's great. But if you have to put it back in the case, that could be a negative, because you have to put it in the case every single time you charge it. So it's 6 1/2 dozen than the other as far as I'm concerned with that. That's just a neutral personal preference. One thing I will point out quickly is the spot where these actually go. I believe that the foam is cut out a little bit too big. So you can see how these really can go up and down quite a bit. You see this whole gap right here? That shouldn't be that big. So I think the thickness between these should have been much better. If not, you could have probably put in more bits or some extra stuff in there, because these could all, fit really right on top of each other. So you could do that. Wanted to show you the blue kit and check out that. I think that is pretty sharp looking. Now, if I had my choice, I'd probably go with the blue. I really like the way that this blue just stands out. It's pretty nice looking. I do have a mini PC right here, and I just wanted to do a quick test on the back here. We do have some a little bit larger than this kit is really, I think, designed for. But if it can do this, it can do quite a bit more. So I just wanted to give it a test on this and see what it's like. You always can revert back to the manual, put it on there and twist it off, right? But we do have the blue one here just to demonstrate with. It gives it a little nice contrast with, almost matches, not even close, does match the shirt. But we do need to pick a Phillips here that is going to best suit this, and I think that will do. So we'll put that back, put this in. We are on torque level 5, so I'm going to put it right down to torque level 1 and see what it takes to twist these off. All right, so we're on torque level 1, and the most upper one, I'll turn it over like this, the most upper one is going to be your reverse, so it's counterclockwise. So we're going to put it right on that and give this a try. All right, nothing. And it's really bogging that down. So let's go to torque level. Torque level 2. We can see it flashing. Nope, it didn't. But we're on torque level 2. So let's try this. Oh, look at that. Torque level 2 brought it right out. Now, I don't know how hard that was driven in, but these are captive screws. So you can manually turn that too, so it didn't quite take that one out. Now let's just go right up to torque level 5. And we are on torque level. It always disappears before I can show you. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, torque level 5. I'm just not holding it long enough. All right. Look at that. Even torqued my hand a little bit. There we go. Now this top should be able to come right off. So now if you're working on something like this, for instance, and we have an SSD in there, right? So I know I'm not doing a computer review, but we have an SSD in here. Now we need to change out the bit. I'll leave that one for a little bit smaller of a bit. And I just want to make sure that that kind of fits, which it does. And for something like this, if you're putting it back in, I'd recommend going to basically the lowest setting of this, because that's only meant to hold it in there. It's not meant to torque anything down. So we're going to, there we go. Look at that. And it's not magnetic right now. It just dropped the screw in there and it will not pick it up. So let's do a little demonstration on this, make sure this portion works. Now I should be able to just do this. Go in and out, right? And then I'm just going to reach in here and it's not picking it up.
Right.
So let's try doing it this way, where now let's put it back in here. Still not picking it up. Oh, this might be stuck actually. All right, now that I got the screw out, let's see if this is actually magnetized, because I have a feeling it was stuck in there because it wasn't really doing anything. So let's see. Okay, so it is magnetized. And it's not like super strong, but it's enough to hold small screws, small projects, again, like I said in the beginning. Now, in order to demagnetize this, so we can see, I'm going to do it all in one shot. We are magnetized right now. If you wanted to demagnetize this, you'd have to run it in here. And we are going to run it right in here, get it all demagnetized. And look, it's not picking it up anymore. And that's how it's supposed to work. Magnetize it again. And now it's magnetized. All right, so I wanted to demonstrate with this, if we were to pick up this screw, right, and we are going to put this NVMe back in. I recommend putting something like this right on the first level. So number 1, torque, and just hold this down because these do not have to be snug. And just go ahead and you're going to push this bottom button right here. That's it. That is, I mean, that is probably the most perfect tightness for an NVMe. That's really nice. Now, something else I wanted to point out quick with this kit that I just noticed, if you have a bit in here, you can actually, because this opening over here on this side is larger, it's meant to get your fingers in there and pull up on where you insert the bit onto the driver, but it actually allows for a perfect spot where you can leave a bit in. So that's kind of nice. Now, one thing I did forget to show is the actual cable it comes with. It's not really a big deal. I just felt they could get rid of this box. Let's see. It does come, it's sort of tied up. What's the point in tying this up if you're going to put it on a box that small? Anyway, that I don't know, but it is a pretty short cable. All right, so you do have to be pretty close. It's not a huge deal, and you know, it's a relatively cheap cable too. But again, we do have our USB-C on the back here, which is really, really nice, and you're just gonna have to be pretty close to where you're plugging this in. I would have enjoyed this if this was probably another 6 to 12 inches longer, at least 6 inches longer. That way you can put it down somewhere. It doesn't have to be right on top of what you're, what you're doing. All right, let's wrap this thing up with some opinions and my thoughts about this. Now, overall, it's okay, but it's only okay because these things have a 40% discount right now. Now, this one's at This one's at $32, and then take off the 40%, so you're getting closer around $20, right? This one's at $29, and you take off $40. So I mean, close to within a couple dollars of each other, but I'd still choose a blue kit even if it was more expensive. I just like the way it looks better. I like the color. Now, for the negatives that I did find, I think everything functioned perfectly. The batteries were fully charged. We didn't have an issue with anything. Other than, I will say that there was too large of a gap here in between these, and they're too flimsy in there. They should fit snug like they do side to side, but the up and down, at least from this point of view, the up and down, there's too much of a gap right there. I believe that they could shorten up the gap, make those tighter and add more, or just fill it in with more foam so it doesn't do that. That's just a little thing. I mean, if you're going to add more, they probably increase the price, which I would not be okay with, but I would add more bits if they were going to keep the price relatively the same, you know, and add another row or two of bits. I believe you could do that. The other thing was that power cable. That power cable was only about 6 inches long. I think they can make that another 6 to 8 inches longer, so you have more length to get to your USB outlet, wherever that might be. Sometimes you just don't have that, only this much until, you know. So anyway, those are just little concerns and little things that I believe this kit could improve on. But other than that, at $20 roughly, I think the kit is worth what you get. But without the incentive of the 40% off, probably not. That's just my opinion. I wouldn't spend probably $30, $35 on a kit like this. $20, $25 max is probably where I would be. But that's about it. Now you're going to have to make your decision on whether or not to take a look at these and maybe pick one up for yourself. Again, I will leave the link down below. This is just my honest opinion. I don't have like a 3 to 6 month or even year-long use of one of these. I don't know if I would recommend one of these for somebody that works on electronics day in, day out, but for a hobbyist, somebody that just picks it up once in a while, or something like that, these are perfect. Cheap, affordable, and you get the job done, right? So anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me, and make sure you subscribe. Hit that little bell icon next to the subscription button to get notified for any future videos that I do post. And also, go ahead and share this video and leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think. Maybe you have one of these. Maybe you want to pick one up. I don't know how many questions I can actually answer other than what I've already told you on here. But I guess depending on when I post this, and if I get some use out of these, maybe there's another question. How are these doing? How are they holding up? Etc. Something like that. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. And until next time, guys, take care.